We leave Europe next and move to the Middle East, where the expansion of the Israeli operation in Gaza and the prospects of the annexation of the West Bank have sparked reactions from around the world. There are reports that the UAE is not currently considering severing ties with Israel completely. However, it is expected that the UAE may downgrade diplomatic ties with Israel if Prime Minister Netanyahu's government annexes part or all of the West Bank. An official from the Emirati Foreign Ministry stated that any annexation by Israel would be considered a red line. The UAE and Israel formalized their relations under the Abraham Accords, mediated by the first Trump administration in September of 2020. Since then, the UAE has not indicated any intention to retreat from these accords. We're now joined by Shruti Dasgupta, who is an international affairs expert, and she joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Shruti, for joining us here on the program. Shruti, just briefly, before we get into this, could you tell us a little bit more about the Abraham Accords and what diplomatic relations were like before them between Israel and the rest of the Middle East?
The rest of the Middle East it does not look very positively towards Israel. It is viewed as outsider implant into the Arab world. So they are not happy with its presence. And to normalize relations, the Abraham Accords was President Trump's baby project, which he's still trying to push towards the other Arab nations. Of course, the invasion in Gaza is something that is kind of put a halt on all diplomatic relations that could have resumed under the aegis of Abraham Accords. One of the primary clauses of the Abraham Accords was that Israel promised not to plan any annexation or attacks towards the West Bank for 4 years. Now that deadline has come and gone in 2024, and we've seen an escalation on all sides of Israel. The accords as a whole are a way to ensure that Israel has good relationships with each and every Arab nation. Trade should flow, diplomacy should be conducted, and the tensions in the Middle East, where most of the oil reserves of the world are locked in, is reduced, and prosperity grows. But this particular accord has not found favor in a lot of hardliner nations. I think only 2 other nations beyond Qatar have, UAE have signed up for this. And so they are not, I think Morocco is one of them, and the others have not found favor for it. And with the increasing assaults in Gaza, I don't see them coming back to at least this version of Abraham Accords.
Yes, Shruti, and what can you tell us about the new E1 plans to expand Israeli settlements in the West Bank, which the Emirati officials may be referring to?
Yes, this stems from a Smotrich statement stating that that he wants maximum territory with minimum population from the West Bank itself. He feels that allowing Palestinian identity anywhere near and around Israel is a threat to the national sovereignty of Israel. And so he hopes, apart from I think 6 particular cities from the West Bank, he had displayed a large map where he had he had encouraged Netanyahu to look at the map and plan accordingly, leave just about 6 cities, and of those 6 cities, most of the Palestinian or Palestinian identifying Arabs should be pushed out into the other 6 cities, and that land should be kept, and probably kind of uniting the Judea and Samaria narrative that Israel and its supporters have been speaking about. So from Smotrich statements, it shows that they are kind of laying the public narrative out, and this is exactly what UAE is afraid of. 1, the Abraham Accords guarantee of 4 years is over. 2, Gaza city is almost pummeled with the increase of attacks over there. So there have been really offensive statements coming from some of the officials again, They are saying that we've spent the money on the war and now we need to see how we can make the most profit out of the land that we're going to occupy in Gaza. So with looking at those particular aspects and with Smotrich's plan, UAE have come down to the brass tacks of it, that we do not trust Israel. We have no faith in them. The attack on Doha in the name of Hamas is something that shows that anywhere Israel finds or suspects a threat to itself, it would attack, and UAE is not comfortable with it. And that is why they have said that they would probably back away from ties, as in the Abraham Accords and any other further diplomatic relations, which are already on the lower simmer since 2023. They would probably end all of it if any action on ground is seen towards accomplishing Smotrich's plan.
Shruti, why do Israel think that they have a right to this land? Of course, this, under international law, is Palestinian territory. What is the backstory of this situation?
Well, then we have to go back to really biblical times, where we say that where we hear about how the Jews were run out of the promised land and Jerusalem is theirs, and of course that is something that Turkey has now taken claim of. Also, Netanyahu has also made claims that we are here, we will not leave. So it comes down from the promised land that is also unfortunately part of the Old Testament of Christianity, where they say that the Jews must return to the promised land. So this is probably part of that entire campaign, for which the greater Israel propaganda that was somewhere around the late 1800s, I'm forgetting the name of the person who spoke about it, but he was a very I hate to use the term, but Zionist ideology, where they wanted a greater Israel, that is the older territory of Judea as such, and that is what they want to establish. So this is where these plans, these ambitions come from, whenever every one of them want to go back to touch to their civilizational roots, and they want to turn it into current political identity. Civilizational roots are fun and nice and good to know, but turning them into modern day scenarios is something that would violate a large number of human rights, international laws, and would lead to a lot of war that would not be good for anybody living in that land or is associated with that land.
Yes, Shruti Dasgupta, thank you very much for joining us. We do move